So we're going to look at this text, which is a description of a table about the number of speakers of different languages around the world. Have a look at the link to see the table and the information. And we're going to focus on proofreading for sentence structure. Yeah. Remember that in academic writing, the rules for sentence structure are fairly strict. And so it's good to know and check for mistakes in sentence structure before you submit your written assignments. Let's start with the first sentence. And we have the subject, the chart, and we have the verb, outlines. Okay. And if we look at the rest of the sentence, the number of speakers, both native and non-native, of 6 different languages around the world, we see that there are no other subjects and verbs. Okay, so this is a simple sentence. And in English, every sentence should have at least one subject and one verb in formal writing. Okay, and so this sentence is fine, a simple sentence. As you get fast at proofreading for sentence structure, you'll find that you don't have to pay much attention to simple sentences like this, especially where the subject and verb are at the beginning of the sentence. Okay. Next sentence. Generally speaking, the most spoken languages, so that's the subject. Run, that's the verb, in order according to the number of native speakers, with the exception of English. Similar to the first sentence, this is a simple sentence in structure with just one subject and one verb. Looks fine. Okay. Next paragraph. The language is the subject with the most total speakers is, okay, Mandarin Chinese, so subject verb, at 1,090,000,000 people, comma, it also has the most native speakers at 900 million. So here we have a problem, okay? We have another subject and verb, okay, in this sentence. So we have 2 subjects and 2 verbs in this sentence. And in academic writing, in the formal sentence structure rules, it says that if you have 2 subjects and 2 verbs, you need a conjunction, a word that connects the subjects and verbs. Okay, but do you notice here we have a comma between the subject verb and the subject and verb, and commas do not serve as conjunctions in English, right? This is called a run-on sentence. And it's a typical mistake in sentence structure. Even native speakers make this mistake, okay? And so look out for this comma. Some people call it a comma splice as well, but run-on sentence is a good general description. The good news is that it's fairly easy to fix. You could just put either a full stop instead of the comma and start a new sentence, or you could add a conjunction. Like, I don't know, like and, a simple one. Though be careful about using too many ands, of course. Okay? But anyways, keep in mind, and we'll see some more examples, run-on sentences are something to avoid in academic writing, and it's a good thing if you can catch them and fix them before you submit your writing. Next sentence. This contrasts, so subject, verb, with the language with the second most total number of users, English, full stop. So again, one subject and verb, simple sentence, looks fine. Although there are only 339 million people for whom English is the mother tongue. Well, in this case, we've got there is, there are, the verb are, and in this structure, the subject comes after, right? Okay. And then notice we have another subject and verb, in this case, English is. Okay, and the problem is that although is a conjunction and whom is also a conjunction. Okay, so we have 2 pairs of subjects and verbs. So we need a conjunction to join them. But in this sentence, we have 2 conjunctions, 2 of these connecting words. And that count, that math, doesn't work in formal sentence structure. Okay, we only need one conjunction, one connecting word to join two pairs of subjects and verbs. In this case, just to let you know, it's called a fragment, a sentence fragment, this kind of mistake. It means it's a piece of a sentence, not a complete sentence. And in this case, the problem is that this idea in the sentence connects with the next sentence, right? Although there are only 339 people for whom English is the mother tongue, I think if we put a comma now and a small t, the total number of speakers around the world is 942 million. Okay, now if we do that, notice we have another subject and verb combination, which gives us 3 in the sentence with 2 conjunctions. And then that's fine, okay? That math is okay. So look out for sentence fragments. This is where you have a conjunction or an extra conjunction that you don't need, okay? Next sentence. This is due, so we got subject, this, and due, verb, okay? To the approximately 600 million people who use, right? We got the verb use, and who is a subject, but it's also a conjunction. Okay, so we've got 2 subjects and verbs, and we've got the conjunction who to join them. And then in the rest of the sentence, there are no more subjects and verbs. So that's 2 subjects and verbs, and then 1 conjunction to join them. That's great. That math works. Okay. Next paragraph. Third place, subject, is occupied, verb, by Hindi, the national language of India, with 490 million total speakers, of which 75% are native. So we've got another subject and verb. And notice the which to join the two, which is a conjunction, relative pronoun, as you know, and it's a conjunction that joins 2 subjects and verbs. And then we have another subject and verb, 25% are, and then we have and as a conjunction that joins there. Okay, so we've got 3 verbs and 3 subjects, and they're joined by which and 2 conjunctions. That works out fine. So that sentence is good in terms of structure. Next sentence, close behind is, so we got a verb, and then this is where the subject comes after as well. Okay, Spanish. It has. This is a similar mistake to the previous run-on mistake, okay? Because you have a subject and verb, subject and verb, and you have a comma between them. And we need a conjunction when we have multiple subjects and verbs in a sentence, right? Now, here, if we go further, we have a verb, and then we have who, which is both a subject and a conjunction, okay? And then we have another kind of subject and verb combination, and then conjunction and, okay? But here, there's nothing to join these 2 subjects and verbs. So that's a mistake, and as I mentioned before, you can fix it by putting a full stop, though that makes kind of a very short sentence, doesn't it? Close behind is Spanish, full stop. In this case, we might replace it with which, okay, which is a conjunction. It can serve as the subject as well, and then it joins the 2 subjects and verbs. Okay, so another run-on sentence problem. Next sentence, Arabic and Portuguese, subject, round out, verb, the top 6 languages of the world in terms of speakers. So that's a 1 subject, 1 verb, a simple sentence, fine. Both of them, subject, are spoken, verb, by a little over 200 million as a mother tongue. Fine, simple sentence, 1 subject, 1 verb. But Arabic is used. This is interesting, okay? But at the beginning of a sentence. In a lot of writing in English, creative writing, story writing, even in newspapers, this is fine, using but at the beginning of a sentence. But in academic writing, the rules are stricter. And we generally say, don't use but at the beginning of a sentence. Don't use and at the beginning of a sentence. So, or. Okay, these kinds of conjunctions you shouldn't use at the beginning of a sentence. Let's see why by looking at the rest of the sentence. So Arabic is a subject, and is a verb, and is used, sorry. And then if we continue, we see Portuguese is a subject, and is used is a verb. Okay, while is a conjunction to join subjects and verbs. Okay, so in this sentence, we have two subjects and verbs, and we have while as a conjunction to join them, but we also have but as a conjunction. It's an extra conjunction that we don't really need, and according to academic sentence structure, it's wrong. It's a fragment. Okay, it's only a piece of a sentence. So that's a good thing to remember. In academic writing, avoid starting a sentence with but, and, so, or. Okay? If we look at the next sentence, we see immediately it's the same problem. The writer has started a sentence with so. Okay? And in this case, we have one subject and one verb. So we don't need a conjunction in this sentence, right? We only have one subject and one verb. We need conjunctions to join two subjects and verbs. How do we fix this mistake? Well, with the so, especially for academic writing, we can use a word that isn't a conjunction, like thus or therefore, or as a result. With the earlier but, we could fix it by using a non-conjunction word like however. Or you could also take out the full stop if the sentence isn't too long. But try to remember that rule for academic writing. Starting sentences with but, so, and, or is not considered good sentence structure. And so it would be good if you could fix that before you submit. Last paragraph. To sum up, the 6 most spoken languages, subject, in the world are made up of verb, a mix of millions of native and non-native users, okay, with Mandarin Chinese shows. So this is another issue with sentence structure, okay? We have this word with, and with is a preposition, like to or from, okay? And after a preposition, we don't have a main verb. It's not allowed in English. You can easily fix it. We can change shows to showing. And then that is not a main verb, verb ing by itself. It goes with a preposition, okay? With Mandarin Chinese showing the most native speakers, and English having the most non-native speakers, okay? So that's another sentence structure rule to remember. After a preposition, you can't have a main verb. You have to have a verb ing, okay? Right, so I hope that helped you. There's some important kind of rules here and kind of typical mistakes that, people make when they write. That's fine when they're drafting, but before you submit, if you can check your sentence structure and try to eliminate these kinds of mistakes, then you're going to get better marks and your writing will look more professional, more academic. Okay, so try the guided editing activity and then check the answers in the video. Good luck.